I got married less than a week ago and my mother-in-law is already crashing out my marriage. I live in America with my husband. In fact, the whole family lives here. We are quite young, my husband and I am currently pregnant for him. My mother-in-law is the breadwinner of her family. She takes care of all the family members, including the extended family. So she's the voice of the family and whatever she says goes. So the problem all started when we were preparing to get married. In my culture, there is this thing about kneeling down for your in-laws and everything, but I did not grow up in that settings. I grew up in America and that was not instilled in me at all. My parents did not care about traditions and that is how I grew up. So all those things are not a bother to me or my parents at all. But unfortunately, it is a big step for my mother-in-law. This is how it all started. On my wedding day, I was supposed to be getting ready and getting assisted to get ready, but I was turned into a hairstylist and a dresser for my mother-in-law on my own wedding day. I started styling her hair, styling her dress and everything instead of getting ready. My mother-in-law got ready before me for my own wedding and I attended my own wedding late because I was taking care of her. So while I was doing my mother-in-law's hair, my father-in-law came in and I greeted him as usual because I was in a rush. It was 1 hour to my wedding. I just wanted to make her hair, leave there so I can go get dressed. But no, they said I did not kneel down to greet my father-in-law properly. When I was in a rush, I didn't even think about greeting anybody properly. I just wanted to be done so I can go and get ready. I was in a hurry. My mother-in-law was rushing me, but you are concerned about me kneeling down to greet somebody. That's aside. So we did our court wedding. And when we got back to the house, we ate food and they had invited their neighbors over. To my surprise again, she walked the neighbors out with her husband, that is my father-in-law, and didn't come back from 3:46 p.m. to 8 p.m. They left me and my husband alone in the house. They did not allow us to do our wedding in our own location where we stay. We had to travel down to where my mother-in-law stays. She invited her neighbors for the wedding, and then when we came back from court, she took them out and came back 8 p.m. I was just sitting there in the house as if it was not my wedding day. So when they came back in the evening, the ceremony continued and it was time to cut the cake. I thought my husband and I was going to cut the cake together, but before we could even finish, my father-in-law told him that it was my job to cut the cake alone. They said I was going to cut the cake alone, feed my husband and share the cake to every visitor that was there. I'm like, is this my wedding or is this an introduction to being a maid? She didn't just ask me to feed everyone cake. She told me that I was going to kneel down before my in-laws and feed them cake. And I said I was not going to do that. I was not brought up that way. We are not in Africa. This is America. And this is not how I was brought up. Why do I need to kneel down and be doing all these stressful things on my wedding day? Since I refused to kneel down and serve them cake, everywhere went silence and that's where the havoc started. I just went upstairs into the bedroom to lay down. My husband followed me into the bedroom and said, why did I do that and all of that? We argued a little bit and he told me he was going to come back and then he went downstairs. He came back into the bedroom around midnight and told me that I was going to apologize to his family, which I